How's it going, everybody? This is BeatTheBush. Today I'm going to talk about if you should list a listing on eBay as an auction or buy it now. Now, most likely you're asking this question because you want to know which way to list it so that you would get the best price for the product that you're selling. The answer to this is not quite clear because it really depends on the type of product that you're selling. Even if you're listing it as the same product, one person really good at listing auctions could end up selling it for more than a person that's listing it for buy it now. Now, let me go through some of the things that you want to think about as you're doing your listings. Now you have the option of listing it as an auction. Now you can set the start price as anything that you want. Sometimes people choose to let it start at 1 penny. The first few dollars of it is really just to attract people so that they would start looking at your listing. They would actually bookmark it and come back to it. If you don't know what you're doing and you list it at 1 penny, you might just sell it for 1 penny and you might end up just kind of giving the product away for free. And if you have free shipping, you might actually lose money on it because you have to pay shipping. Now, on top of auctions, there's a thing called reserve price. It's a price at which you will not sell the item if it's below this price. For example, if I'm selling this T-Rex and I want to start the auction at 1 penny, but I don't want to let it go unless it sells for at least $20, then I would put the reserve price at $20. People can bid on that 1 penny. They can go, okay, 1 penny is pretty low. I'm going to bid on it. When people see that there's a reserve price, they go, you know what? Even if I bid on it, I might not get it. So therefore, when you put a reserve price, you definitely have a lot less bidders. So let's say the bidding keeps on going on 1 penny. Okay, the next person bids on it. Okay, I'm willing to pay 50 cents for it. And then they could just keep on bidding. But let's say the bidding ends at $10. Reserve price is at $20. So then the winning bidder does not get T-Rex. Now, what is an auction really good for? As a seller, you want the most eyes on the product as possible. So you want to make every effort to make a good thumbnail so that people will look at the product and actually click into it, look at it. You also want it to end at the perfect time of the day where you have the most traffic. If you're trying to sell to, let's say, somewhere in the United States, you want to list it so that people might be at home already, or maybe they might be at work, because we know a lot of people are looking at eBay at work. So if you want the whole of America to be able to look at the listing right when it ends, you might want to list it somewhere around noon Pacific time, because that equates to around 3 p.m. Eastern time. So you have most of the country not stuck in traffic hour, because if they're stuck in traffic on the weekday, they can't bid on your thing. So if you really want the most eyes on your product, you want to do an overlap of the work hours, 8 to 5 on the East Coast and 8 to 5 on the West Coast, and then whatever that overlaps, list it somewhere in between there to get the most traffic. Alternatively, you can wait until everybody on the West Coast is home, and that people on the East Coast is pretty late at night. Now, eBay allows you to set the end time. However, they do charge a small fee for it. So it's better that you just kind of time things right so that you list everything right around that sweet spot time. When you're a novice, you might get into trouble when you set an auction, because if you happen to not have good pictures, if you misspelled something and you list it at, let's say, 1 cent and nobody is able to see it, you get very little traffic. Well, the snipers out there, which means the people that specifically look for these auctions, they're going to try to get those auctions for really, really cheap. The definition of sniping really just means that you're trying to get the auction at the very last second, just in case that there are other people looking at it. They cannot just bid above you and take the item. Let's say I have a listing for T-Rex. I sell it at 1 penny and I'm a super novice. I don't know what I'm doing. I took really dark pictures, and when I listed T-Rex, it just says TRREX or something. I misspelled something. I didn't write plush, all kinds of mistakes. And then basically I get very little traffic over a week. Maybe I get 1 or 2 people looking at this. What happens with a person that's trying to snipe this item is that they would come in at the very last moment and go, okay, I'm going to bid 2 cents on this thing. And then the auction would end, there will be no reserve price, and then they would get the listing. They would be able to buy the item for really, really cheap. Now, there are enough people on eBay that generally this does not happen all that often unless you find a listing that's like really, really rare, really messed up. So even as a novice, you could list a whole bunch of stuff and you probably would still be able to sell it not at the very lowest price, because then still, two or more people will still somehow come across this and they go, what? I'm not letting it go for 1 penny. I'm not letting the other guy get it for 2 pennies. I'm gonna, bid above that and, bid $5 or something. And then, the price goes up and then you get paid a little bit more. So the idea with sniping is that even if there are multiple people looking at this item, the sniper wants to get in at the very last second, so there's no time for the other people or the system to react to increase the price. There are eBay sniping software out there that would allow them to reinitiate a bid when someone else out snipes them. So I personally have won against sniping software. All you have to do is just bid at a high enough price that you're willing to buy that price. The sniping software might come back and go, okay, I'm going to increase the price $1 at a time. So let's say I bid it at $5. There is 3 seconds left, okay? And it's at 2 cents right now. The sniping software will go, what the heck? Someone else outbid me. But right now it's at 2 cents. So the software is going to go, okay, bid $1. Okay, no, it didn't go because my bid is still at $5. Then it's going to come back 1 second later, or very, very quick, however fast the software works. It's going to keep on polling eBay, and then it's going to come back and go, okay, I'm going to bid a second one at $2, $3, $4, and then the auction ends. So in a way, the sniping software could make it so that it's more expensive for you as a buyer. As a seller, this is bad news because people that are trying to snipe the software could artificially cause the price to be lower, because if they were fairly bidding against each other until there's enough time so that whoever wants to buy is paying the maximum price there is, then it probably would have gotten higher than $5, maybe $10. So it's only good to list an auction if you know what you're doing, and also that that item is going to get a lot of traffic. The more traffic, the better, because there's always someone out there that is willing to play the game as normal, just kind of bid on everything, and they probably have a chance of getting it for that price anyway, because sometimes people just are not interested. Sometimes they just wanted to have a lower bid no matter what. So if someone goes and bid $5, let's say it is at $5 already, and all these other people, they come and they take a look at it and they go, okay, I'm not willing to pay $5 for this. And then the auction ends maybe a few days later with no other new bid, then whoever bid on it will be able to receive this item for $5. Now, the good thing for the buyer for bidding early is because they don't have to come back and look at the item. Otherwise, you have to time yourself or maybe set something in the software and then go, okay, right at this time, bid at this amount. Now, there's also the buy it now option. Basically, you set the price for this thing. So let's say I want to sell this for $19.99, and I can put that listing out there and people can come by, just kind of like on Amazon. They look at it, they see the price. If they like it, they buy it. If they don't buy it. Now, the problems with novice sellers is if you have a lot of one-time items, not you bought like 30 items of the same thing and you really know the price of that thing. If you just keep on selling different one-off things, sometimes that item might go for a lot more than you think. And if you list it as buy it now, whoever knows the value of the item might be able to just pick it up really quick. You'll notice that if you list it at a buy it now price, and if you list it way too low, someone is going to pick it up right away. If you sell it way too fast, you might kind of go, wait a minute, why are they buying it so fast? It's because they see the value in the thing and then they're going to buy it right away. Let's say T-Rex is worth $100, okay? And I listed for $20, and people go, what? It's only $20. Okay, I'm gonna buy it right away. So that's the situation you're trying to avoid if you're a novice seller. So if you're selling it for buy it now, you better know the true street market value of this item. Sometimes you might be selling like an antique. Sometimes you might be selling like some crazy Lego part that you don't know. You could just bundle up a whole bunch of stuff and go, okay, this is just whatever, just buy this. I'm willing to let it go for $10. Little did you know that there might be this special piece in there that's worth $200. And in one of your pictures, they see that special piece. They're like, oh my gosh, that piece is worth $200. Of course, I'm going to pay $20 for this whole lot. Okay. And then they click buy it now. They bought it, and then you have to sell it to them. No joke here, because I personally have sold one single piece of Lego. I had to do the research and stuff, but that single piece was worth $200. So really take care of looking at your items and really finding out the true value of those things. Now, I personally like to sell things as buy it now, because I personally like to buy things buy it now. Whenever I look at auctions, I'm like, no, I don't want to wait a whole week, because when you bid on something, you are obligated to buy that thing. However, these days on eBay, there's like bid retractions or something. I personally don't like to retract my bid. I feel like that's sort of like a shady move. Therefore, you cannot really go around saying, okay, I want T-Rexes out there. There's like 10 auctions out there, and you can't just go bid on 5 of them, because if you want 3 of them, you really don't want 3 T-Rexes. So as a seller, what I like to do is just research the value of the item itself, and I generally set it a little bit higher than what it's valued at, and then I would just list it. And if it ends without anyone buying it, big deal. I generally use free listings. I don't know if you can get free listings if you just newly signed up as a user. I'm a pretty long time user, so every once in a while I would get like 50 free listings. So I would just use those listings, and if it doesn't sell, big deal. I don't lose any money over listing fees. So as I do this, if it doesn't sell for 1 or 2 weeks, I would lower the price 5 to 10% every single week. And sometimes if it drops too low, or sometimes if I feel like the value is there, but then people are not viewing it, I might make the pictures better. I might add better description. I might change the title. I might even raise the price sometimes just a little bit, because this is almost like a psychology thing. If there are people out there tracking that item week after week, they're just waiting for it to drop $10, another $10. They're like, oh, if you dropped it $10 this week, $10 next week, oh, okay, well, what if I wait like 2 or 3 more weeks? Are you going to drop it another $10, another $10? So what I like to do as a seller is sometimes I might drop it, and if it seems a little bit too low to me, I might raise it back up. I might just go, okay, whatever. I'm going to change the listing a bit, raise it back up to the maximum value that I think it's worth, plus a little bit, and then I'm going to list it again. Now, does this raising of the price work? I've seen it work multiple times. I've raised the price, and sometimes immediately it gets purchased. So don't think of eBay as like a race to the bottom, because it might feel that way if you are competing against other sellers. You can raise the price a little bit once in a while. If you just kind of massage your listing, just kind of make it look better, then you can charge a higher price. Now, there's another thing where you can actually do an auction / buy it now. How this works is if it's someone bids on it for the first time, then you can no longer buy it now anymore. So that listing just sort of converts into an auction listing. Now, eBay has a thing where the buy it now price needs to be at least 30% more than the starting bid price. So there are 2 major ways to set the pricing on an auction / buy it now. You can either set the buy it now at street price and then the bidding price at 30% lower, or you can set the bidding price at the street price and then the buy it now at 30% above that. Now, these 2 things are 2 different strategies. If you want to set the street price for buy it now, it just means that, okay, you're willing to let the item go for that buy it now price, the street price. But if someone is willing to wait and pay less for that item, they can start bidding on it, but they're gonna have to wait. On the other hand, if you set the street price at the starting bid price, it means that, okay, whoever wants to buy this, they have to pay at least the street price. And if they want it very quickly, they need to pay the buy it now price, which is about 30% more. So these 2 are very different strategies. The whole deal with eBay is if you have enough patience, you can extract the maximum amount out of your things. Just list things pretty high and then just kind of move down in price a little bit at a time. Because the longer that you list something, the more views that you're gonna get, the more exposure that you're gonna get, the more chances that you're gonna have of someone willing to pay that price, whatever that you're asking for. Now, the true question here is, which strategy will actually yield you the most profits. The whole premise on all this is it really depends on the item. Sometimes you might just want to move more product. If you don't have a limited amount of products that's just sitting there, if every single time you move something, you make something, okay? You don't care how low that the price goes as long as you get a lot of volume out. So sometimes you might want the maximum profit overall per month rather than the maximum profit per item, because yes, you can go around extracting the maximum profit per item, but if you go around doing this, it's gonna cost you more time and most likely you're gonna not sell as many products. So this works well for people that, like for me, I don't have that many products. I don't buy all that much stuff to resell. I'm just selling the stuff that I already have. So I'm okay with just listing it multiple times and trying to get the maximum value of those things. However, there are the people that wants to get most products move out of the door. In that case, you might want to be a little bit lower than the street price even. Most people, they're trying to buy the item at minimum price at a reasonable condition. So they're going to look up the cheapest item. They're going to sort it by the cheapest of the product cost plus the shipping. And sometimes they might sort it to buy it now because they want the item right now. They just want to buy it and go. If you make a profit of $8 and you sell 100 of them, then you make $800 versus, okay, you can sell it for $10, but you only sell 10 of them because, you wanted to get the maximum profit out of it. Then you only get $100 profit. So in this case, as a seller, you got to look at what type of seller are you? Do you have like an unlimited amount of stock that you can just keep on buying from somewhere else? So thanks for watching, everybody. I know this was like a really, really fast rundown with a lot of information here. If you're interested in supporting this channel, check out my Audible link down in the video description below where you can get a free audiobook. And if you don't like this audiobook or this service, you can cancel it before the subscription expires and you can still keep this audiobook for free and help benefit this channel. Don't forget to give me a like on this video, comment down below. Let me know if these eBay tips and tricks help you. And as always, don't forget to push that subscribe button and ring that bell icon. Thanks for watching.